Hello, welcome to this new set of lessons about creating apps. Now, to do this lesson, you're going to need access to some devices, and I know some of you may not have access to these, and I apologize in advance as I'll try and think of a way around it, but for now, what you're going to need is either access to a laptop or a desktop computer and a phone, or a tablet and a phone, or a desktop, laptop, and a tablet. Basically, the reason you're going to need two is one for creating the apps on and the other for testing the apps on. So whichever combination of those you have, you should be able to complete these series of lessons. Now, they need to be Android, unfortunately, and not Apple, because as far as I'm aware, Apple do not allow anything like creation of apps on their devices. It has to be something that Apple have agreed to, so you can't actually do that kind of thing with any kind of Apple apps. It's one of the disadvantages of Apple. But Android is essentially any of the other devices, doesn't include the Amazon Kindle ones, but almost all other phones available in the UK usually are Android if they're not Amazon or Apple. So because we've got different combinations of devices being used, I'm going to need to refer to them in different ways. So the place where we're going to code or create the app is going to be called our coding device, and the one where we're testing it is going to be called our testing device. So the first step we need to do is to download an app on the testing device. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that first of all. Okay, apologies for the quality of the image here. I've only got a very basic camera to take this with, but on the device, on your testing device, click the Play Store, and then in the search bar type in App Inventor Companion, and you should get this one here. We can just search for that straight away, MIT Companion, and it says the one with 1 million downloads. So you're going to download that. Open it. Shouldn't really need access to any of those things, so I might press deny for now. It's because I denied it. Perhaps I should have pressed allow there, but you should get this screen, and this screen is what we'll be using shortly once we started coding. But if it's set up like this, you're in the right place. Okay, on your coding device, so either your laptop or your tablet, depending on what you're using, go to Google and type in MIT App Inventor. And you should get to this website here, or you can just write in appinventor.mit.edu. So MIT is a university in America where they focused on technology. So if you remember when we did Scratch, it was scratch.mit.edu. So it's the same place. It's a world famous university for technology. So what you need to do is press Create Apps. Now on this screen it will ask you to sign in. I'm going to sign in using my school email address, and you should do the same. So what we're going to do is start a new project, and you're going to call it something like button press, or anything you like really, but we're only going to create a very basic app to start with, so just give it a name. Can't contain spaces. Let's put it button press. Now you're going to connect, so you'll come up with this screen here, and then we're going to connect to your testing device, so in my case my phone. So I'm going to press connect and AI Companion here, and it will bring this QR code up. If you then reopen your app on your phone, on your testing device, and you'll have a button that says either connect with code or scan QR code. I'm going to press scan QR code. Now I haven't got any way of showing you this in real life because my other camera is so terrible, but you press scan QR code on your phone, and then it will open up your camera, and you can then scan the code that is on your computer or your coding device, and they'll start linking together, so that what you see on the screen in front of you on the testing device is the same as what you see on the coding device. Okay, now we're going to create a basic program, basic app. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a very basic button pressing app. So we're going to press button here, and we're going to drag it across into the screen. And what you should see on both your coding device and your testing device is this button here that says text for button 1. Now, if you scroll down, text for button 1, I'm going to give this another name. Let's call it, I'm going to call it sandwich. Okay, and just press enter. So it's changed to sandwich in all places, sandwich there and on my testing device. And we're also going to need something called text to speech here. So this text to speech, we're going to click, drag, and drag it across. So underneath there, you've got text to speech. Now, don't worry about what that does for now. Now we're ready to actually do a little bit of coding. So press blocks here. Now this coding is very much like Scratch. It's been designed in a way to help you understand, so it's similar to Scratch. So we're going to come down here to press to where it says button. And there's some complicated things here that don't necessarily make a lot of sense, but we're just going to go for this first one here. When button 1 is clicked. Okay, so so drag that into the center. I didn't drag mine across, but you drag yours into the center. Now, what do we want to do when button 1 is pressed? Well, we want it to do text to speech. So we're going to click on this here, and let me just drag this across. So what do we want it to do? When we click the button, we want it to do what's called call text to speech. Now that basically means, when it says call, what it means is launch the special function. Basically, calling in computing means launch a special function. A bit complicated, but don't worry about it for now. So call text to speech, and it's gone in like that. And then we need a little socket. We've got a little puzzle socket here that we're going to drag in to say what message do we want it to actually say. So go here to text and bring this one across here, and we're going to say in there, please may I have a sandwich. Now, if you now test it should now be ready for testing, so let's see if this works. On my testing device, I'm going to press the sandwich button.
Please may I have a sandwich.
So you can hear that on my
Please may I have a sandwich.
On my testing device has created a button that when I press it will say please may I have a sandwich. So it's a very basic app. Let's see what else. See if we can add something into that. So let's bring another button in. Let's change the text for this to drink. Now go into blocks, and this is now button 2, the one. If I go back to designer here, each button has a name. So we've got button 1 and button 2, which we could rename, but we're not going to at the moment. So the top one is button 1, the second one is button 2. So I'm going to go back into blocks, and I'm going to go to button 2 and say when button 2 is clicked, we want some text. Oh no, we don't, sorry, let me go back. We want text to speech. We want to use the text to speech function, and we want it to bring this one. We want to bring this speech here. And what speech do we want it to say? Something. So this drink is too warm. So now I'm going to test that on my phone.
This drink is too warm.
So there you go. You now have 2 buttons.
Please may I have a sandwich. This drink is too warm.
And you can obviously add in as many things as you like. So that's our basic start app that will. Okay, so we've got this app with 2 buttons. I'm actually going to get rid of one of these buttons. So I'm going to click on button 2 here and press delete here, and it will delete the button. If we go back into blocks, it's deleted the blocks associated with that button. Okay, so let's let's change this one and change it, what it says in here, to, so I need to press button there, right, no, so go to button and save the text in here, say it to question, call it question, and we're going to go into the blocks and let's change this to something like what are you if you shake this phone? Let's test that on our testing device.
What are you if you shake this phone?
Okay, now, so what we're going to do is we're going to create it so that if someone shakes the phone, they then get an answer. So we're going to go back into Designer and we're going to go down here. So you would have been in here, user interface. If you scroll down, you've got a box here called sensors, tab called sensors, and we're going to use this one called an accelerometer. Now an accelerometer is something that's built into most modern phones. So drag it down. I've already got one there from before, but if you drag it down, so it says accelerometer sensor. Basically what it does is it measures how quickly the phone is moving. So it's able to tell if the phone is moving. So you should have components here, accelerometer, go into blocks, click the accelerometer, and we're going to go for this one here that says when the accelerometer is shaking, so bring that in, and just like before we want to, so I'm going to right click and press duplicate because we don't want to have to find all that again, so we're going to make it call some speech, but then we can have an answer. So if the phone is being shaken, then what would we like it to say? You could say not very nice, not a very nice person, or some kind of comment like that. So if I now on my phone, I've now picked up my phone, I press question.
What are you if you shake this phone?
And now if I shake the phone,
not a very nice person. Not a very nice person.
so that's from me shaking the phone. So it's clever enough to figure that kind of thing out. Now, if you go back into Designer block here, you've got a whole range of things down the side here. Now, not every phone is going to have all these options. Most phones have an accelerometer, but it's not going to necessarily have a thermometer built in. But if it did, you could in some way use a thermometer. Now, what else have we got here? We've got light sensor, location sensor. We're not going to use those today, but they are options there if we want. But what we will do is allow us to enter some text on the phone and then have it speak that text. So we're going to user interface and we're going to go to text box. I'm going to drag a text box into here, and so that will allow, this box will allow the user to enter some text. So we can have a hint for the text. So if you look onto your device, it will say hint for text box, and we can change this to something like what are you? Now that'll make sense in a minute. And then let's go back into blocks. So instead of not a very nice person, I'm going to drag that way, take it to the bin over here, and we're going to go to text box. And if we scroll down, what it can do is find the text that's been written in the text box. So go for the light blue one here that says text box 1 text there. Drag it across and put it there. So what it will do, when the phone is shaken, it will say out loud to text to speech whatever has been written in the text box. So let's test that out. So if I go back to Designer, so it should look like this. On my phone now, I'm going to type into the text box. I'm going to write a teacher. So I then shake the phone. I'll press done actually. Then shake the phone.
A teacher. A teacher. What are you if you shake this phone? A teacher.
So you can, whatever I've typed into that box on my phone, will say it when I speak it. Now I'm changing the text. You can't see this unfortunately. I'm going to change it to, so I've changed it to say a biscuit. So
what are you if you shake this phone? A biscuit.
So clearly it doesn't make any sense, but the idea is whatever you type in and then shake the phone,
Biscuit.
it will then say that for you. So I'd like you to try that too, please. So we're going to leave today's lesson there.